What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Fact Show. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today's Thursday. Looking forward to having this conversation with y'all today. First thing out the gate, doesn't seem like Pete Hegseth is having a great, month or couple months. Um, he thought he did what he did the other day. He fired like at least three. I think it's a total of five, but I think yesterday it was three of his close associates, people that he brought in to the business of where he's doing right now. He brought in his team of people. Well, his team of people are fed up with him, and the ones that got let go, he thought they were the ones who ratted him out. He thought by ratting him out that I guess they were just going to shut up. No, we don't know where it came from, whether it's still people in the office working with him or these people that he let go that were his close comrades. But it's come out since then that he had a whole makeup room built for tens of thousands of dollars, whatever it is, just for him, I guess, to get in front of a camera and be made up to look, I guess, good enough for everybody. I don't know. But he used our tax dollars to build himself a makeup room. And then it's being told that not only, see, in the military, and I had to ask family members who was in the military, retired, in the military, you're not allowed in your offices to bring your phone, your personal phone. I didn't know this. I found this out. So you're not allowed where he goes in his office to have this machine with him, phone with him, technology. And because this man could not have his phone with him, he is so attached to Signal. I keep telling y'all, Signal is the way Project 2025 is being dispersed. So they're doing everything they can to get around the fact that in order for him to know what he needs to do, he has to receive his orders via Signal. Otherwise, if he receives his order on a government system, you will know that Russell, right, the guy who did this to created Project 2025, is the one that's giving him his marching orders. Not Donald Trump, not anybody else. Russell is giving it to him, right? So Russ Vogt, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Vought. He is the one that's giving Donald Trump his marching orders. Not Donald Trump, but Pete Hegseth through Project 2025. I've been saying this since day one. Reason why is because I listened to his assistant, Mika Meadowbrook, literally say, this is what they're going to do if they win the office. So, what do you think they're doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. Y'all, he was on the news on the weekend. In the news industry, the weekend anchors, no disrespect to people who are weekend anchors, but they're the weakest. They're the ones who may look good, may be kind of cool, but they're green. They don't know what they're necessarily doing. We're trying to fill them out and see if a main audience will like them. Every once in a while, that weekend person will go over to the daytime, prime time, and see if the numbers do well. Then they go back to the weekend. They keep testing them to see if they'll be good. He never got out of the weekend, y'all. That lets you know that Fox did not treasure this dude whatsoever. What he could do on the weekend was bring to them, in their minds, good looks and be able to read a teleprompter. Didn't bring anything else to the table. And now he's running our government, bringing nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing. So when you think about this man not bringing anything to the table, he is leading our military. So you know he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue. He was never let in on anything like that, and his friends are letting you know that. The ones that have been kicked out because they've been ratting on him, because they realize this dude has no clue what he's doing. So he had, not only did he have Signal on his phone, he had it so that he could still connect with his family members and everybody on his government computer. He had an IT person put it on his a personal Signal chat on his government computer. Why would you do that? This dude's addicted to Signal. And from the inside, they're saying that his wife is like Yoko Ono. There's this joke about it, I guess, because Yoko was always in, the Beatles business. When she was married to one Beatle, she was not a Beatle. Same situation. She is not in the military, but she's married to one, and this dude reports back to her government information. Is that insane or what? Hey DJ, how you doing? So it doesn't make any sense that you would give information from the government to family members. Now, it's expanded to the point where it says some of his friends were even given this information. At first, when it came out, it was just his lawyer, personal lawyer, and his wife. Now they're saying that there are some friends as well that got the same information about the military strikes. If he did it once, he'll do it again. And he'll keep doing it because before he got caught, that was not the first time. That was just the first time somebody put it out to the media by mistake. And at this point, no disrespect, at this point, I'm starting to believe that this was not a situation in which the guy who gave it to Atlantic, I don't think Atlantic got this information by mistake. I think this person literally wanted to give it to the media just so that Pete Hegseth would stop. I honestly believe that this reporter was given this information on purpose at this point. Why? Because you had to have known that the person who gave it to him must have been getting so many pieces of information from Pete Hegseth on signal that it was like, dude, you have got to stop this. This is not a good thing. I think this was a cry out for help for this dude to literally say, hey, look what he's doing. Nobody else would say anything. At this point, that's what I'm thinking it is, because it makes zero sense that this man has signal on his government computer. This man has signal on his personal computer. This man has signal on his government phone. And he's letting not only government people know about government shit, it's extended to his wife, his lawyer, and friends. Why? Your job is to keep America safe. It's not to go and tell everybody. You're not a reporter anymore, bro. You're working for the government. Why are you telling the whole world? Because once you tell a friend and another friend, that friend say, yo, I know what's going to happen. America, they're going to go tell everybody that you're going to blow up someplace in some other area. If you think you're an idiot, Pete Hegseth. Do you think your friends are smarter? I mean, come on. You handed them the information. They're going to be like, yo, girl, guess what? They're about to bomb somebody. How do you know? I got the inside information. You don't think they're going to do that when you just did it? I promise you, y'all. These people keep acting as though they're bright. Talking about having a meritocracy. I don't understand how you call that a meritocracy. This dude has no merit to be where he's at. And he keeps proving it to you. I have never seen somebody. If you have never seen white privilege, please pay attention to Pete Hegseth. There is no person on this planet of color that can make these dramatically effed up decisions on a day-to-day basis and still hold their job. There's no way. Not one. Tell me one. You got Don Lemon just literally telling a racist, basically, you don't know anything about history. He had to tell other people about black history, being the only black person on the set, while they were trying to give validation to an Indian guy who knows nothing about black history. And he was proving he knew nothing about black history. And in so doing, in a kind way, he mentioned it. Not too long after, he was let go. And all he did was tell the truth and confront a MAGA person who was saying some batshit crazy stuff on air. exactly what American citizens wanted Don Lemon to do. He did. And CNN decided they're going to let him go, fire him for telling the truth. You got a man that's supposed to be keeping America safe, and he's putting out information about war shit that we're going through, and then saying it's not secret. If that ain't secret, what is? What he needed to give out the actual soldiers' names, locations. I mean, come on. Some of the dumbest stuff you ever heard. Some of the dumbest stuff anyone has ever heard. That's what Pete Hegseth did. Now, not only did this man, it just came out today when I heard it, that not only did this man have it on his phone, have it on his personal phone rather, and his government phone, put it on his desktop at work, his personal assistant says, oh, well, he comes out and says, Pete Hegseth doesn't use Signal on his personal computer. That's not what was said. They said on his government computer. Did he use it? And here's the thing. He said he doesn't use it. He didn't say, did he have IT put a Signal on his government computer? Of course he did. Because this man didn't come out and say that he didn't have it on his government computer. He said he doesn't use it. Putting it on there is illegal. He shouldn't have anything from some third-party system. A spy would love Pete Hegseth. I mean, love him. Just knowing that Donald Trump has not let him go, I guarantee you, he fired 3 people. I guarantee you, one of his 3 hires is somebody, or at least tried to. One of his 3 hires is somebody that's trying to steal secrets from America. Is a spy. I would not doubt it. He's a spy's dream. They would be seeking him. All they got to do is say MAGA, 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 and they're already in. I believe in what you're doing 100%, 100%. I won't ever tell nobody. Boom. You've got a spy from whatever country sitting right next to him. He won't tell America jack, but would tell China, would tell North Korea, would tell Russia everything. This dude is a dunce. And he just got rid of his friends. These are people that are his homies. He got rid of them because they were telling him, dude, you fucking up. What are you doing? I'm going to do what I want to do. And he fired them. Let go of the people doing right by America. He's a spy's dream. And not only that, this man had IT at the government to actually put an internet line, unsecured, into his office. The Office of Defense now has an internet line that's not secured because of Pete Hegseth. They should be throwing him under a prison somewhere. Not just in prison, under it. Dig about 3, 6, 7, 8, 10 feet deep under the prison and give him his own fucking cell. Because this is ridiculous. What we gonna do? What we waiting for? For him to give war plans to another country and they bomb us? Are we waiting for that? I mean, what the hell? What are we waiting for? Because if they know all this information and this fool ain't changed it, you think they ain't gonna know? Since this has happened, in over where he's talking about where they've been fighting at the Houthis, they've knocked out American drones and planes. Could they have access to that now? We don't know. Could be, could not. Could be just that they're just that good at certain points. They could have got lucky, or they may be very strategic. But you can't rule it out. That's the problem. You can't rule it out that they didn't get information from this fool, further information. Because we have never heard that he stopped using it. He just got rid of the people who ratted him out. Insane. Thank you, DJ, for the support. I appreciate it. It's just insane. I don't understand any of why these people would want this man to be in the position that he's in. But then again, they got Trump in there. He's just as bad. This man will tell a secret in a heartbeat if it'll get him some kind of play where somebody will make him think that he's cool. This is the entire MAGA. It is filled with a bunch of like dumbass people who want to be accepted that wouldn't be accepted only inside this MAGA world. And so when leaders see them coming a mile away, they see sucker. And all they got to do, rub their ego. You're great. You're wonderful. Oh, wow. And they'll just start purring and tell everything just to be cool. We don't need those types of people in our military or in our leadership. All this shouldn't do nothing to you other than, thanks, I appreciate it. Back to business. But no, they purr and start telling everybody their business. Just to seem like the coolest person in the room. That's not a leader. That's a simp. I woke up today. I don't know if y'all did or not, if y'all saw it or not, but I'm gonna show it. There is a lady who I don't know if I'm saying this right. There's this lady here who was in an interview where she was a reporter at, I think, in China, but it was on a morning show, I think CNBC. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that, but let's see. And they had some choice words to say about America, but you know, that Donald Trump has been saying, you know, I got all these countries. It was 70 or 50 to 70, 75 plus, up to possibly 90 countries we're dealing with, and none of these 90 people exist. They've talked to like 2 people. I think 2 or 3 people's come to the White House, and out of it, no deals. Nothing. No talk of a deal. All we talk about is we got people coming. They were supposed to be coming to kiss his ass, I thought. Remember he said that? Donald Trump said out of his mouth they was kissing his ass. They're kissing his ass, but they're not making any deals. It makes no sense. None of it makes sense. How is somebody kissing your ass, but yet not talking to you? It's crazy. So he goes on to say, you know, we're going to work with China. They said this a couple of days ago. We're going to work with China. We're going to have really good deals and all this other stuff. And China just sits there and looks at him like he, not just, here's what I want you guys to understand. When they're looking at Donald Trump and they're saying these things about Donald Trump, I know us people who are bright, people who did not vote for Donald Trump, Democrats, liberals, independents, smarter than the average bear Republican who didn't vote for Donald Trump. I know we like to think they're talking about Donald Trump. But when they saying this man's an idiot and that, you know, all this stuff that they ain't making no deals with him, they're talking about Americans, y'all. Because you're going to laugh at the leader, you're laughing at the rest of us. So Americans are being laughed at because of this idiot. They don't respect him. Hence, they don't respect us. Because we're the country that voted on said idiot. Not all of us, but some of us. And they can only talk to the some of us. When they talk about America, they're talking about Donald Trump and us. We elected him. They have to think, you guys accepted this shit. You guys wanted it. Not all of you, we know, but enough of you guys did it. So we speak to the leader. We don't speak to the individual citizens. And that's your leader, and he's a fucking idiot. So you guys chose an idiot. And we did. So suck it up. For the next 4 years, on the world map, we are the idiot country. You don't want to be considered an idiot as a country. You might want to rethink your vote and put somebody in there that we can actually have some respect. I mean, having nukes is, I mean, come on. If that's what you want your respect from? We're scared of your military, but you're a dipshit. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, Chuck Johnson. I know we didn't want it, but again, they got to make decisions based on our leadership, not on the individual citizen. The individual citizen, they know because they open up the floodgates on like TikTok and other platforms to literally just say, "Hey, Americans, we know y'all all didn't want that. That's why we letting you know those billionaires and selling that shit for 2,000 or 20,000 or whatever, $80,000 Birkin bags. Here it is for $1,500. They know as a people that we didn't all vote for them. But again, the decisions to make on American soil is based upon the idiot. So the head dude, the president we elect, is the deals that we will receive. But to get to us, the individual, they got to go on these platforms. But other than that, when they're dealing with tariffs, when they're dealing with business, they can't deal with the individual citizen. They got to deal with whatever Donald Trump and leadership decides. That's why I'm saying we're fucked because our people voted for that dipshit. And now we got to deal with it. Now, there's other ways to go around it as citizens, which I've been seeing people do, is that the American citizen is going to have to rise up and say, you know what? This is what we want. And therefore, we've got to vote that way. We got to live that way. We got to support that way. We got to invest that way. And we got to take the power out of those people's hands that make America a shitty country. That means stop buying these expensive ass Birkin bags and buy them for $1,500 and sell them as a different name, or get rid of thinking about brands. We have got to knock the billionaires from here down to here. And at that same time, that equity in between, we got to build the average American up to middle class and actually people who are people-centric, not just profit, people over profit. There's nothing wrong with having money. It's what you do with it. It's how you live your life. If your life is focused on effing everybody else up so that you can rise, you pretty much live a shitty life. I was doing a deep dive on researching, like, why do people lie so fucking much? Why do people in this country, why do we believe making money by ripping people off is the better way than doing right by them? And it's insane how you think when you ask enough Americans about why are they seeking wealth, you start to understand that I want a better life, I want this, that, and the third. But when you get to the ones who actually start gaining it, and they're way up there, they're billionaires or millionaires, they're thinking about how can they fuck you over so that they can get ahead. How can I, and not necessarily individually fuck you over, it's like, how can I fuck over middle class and poor people? Oh, okay, I get subsidies and I pretend like I'm gonna give them money and buy my stock. So you got tax money as a subsidy. Instead of helping people by building places and doing the things you said you're going to do, you go buy a yacht and invest in your business. And it's like, oops, I ran out of money. Let's do it again. Woo! That right there are the type of people who are shitty human beings. They care more about money than people, while at the same time wanting the people to kiss their ass because they got money. See how this shit just is weird? It really makes no sense. The more money you get, the less you care about individuals. And the less money you have, you care about other people. But you got to understand, money turns you into what you actually are times a million. So these people were shitty human beings even when they were broke. They just got money so that you can see it. That's why you see a person like Elon Musk. He was a shitty human way before he made money. Getting all this money and going into Doge just exploded the amount of shitty human being he is. You see it. That's why people got rid of Tesla, because this man doesn't care about anybody. I don't know why they didn't know that before Donald Trump got into office. The reason why Donald Trump even picked him, if you even go back to look, which I don't understand. I mean, do I get to see more media than anybody else? Is it hidden? Is the world not seeing this shit in plain sight? I don't get it. But it's just on regular ass news. This man, Donald Trump, he literally said when he was on a phone call or something of that nature, or interview, whatever, with somebody, he was talking about Elon Musk. I just love the way he just fired people in the union. And he was just laughing at the fact that when Elon took over Twitter, he fired people just for no fucking reason. And they was going to get him, going to sue him because they were in the union and all stuff like that. He still fired them. And they tried to sue him, and he ended up winning the case. Donald Trump was happy about that. Now, what about that makes you like or attracts you to Elon Musk? He didn't care about people who were in the union, who had families, wives, parents to take care of, all these types of things, doing justice. They're working and doing their job perfectly. They weren't doing anything wrong. This man buys it up and fires them because they were telling the truth, and he wanted people to lie more. So having standards is the reason why they got kicked out and on the street. And that's the type of person you want to buy a vehicle from. That's the type of person that you want to enrich. I don't know, Americans. I don't know what in your mind connects wealth with assholes. So therefore, it's like, oh, if he's an asshole, I'm going to buy it. I'm like, dude, if you're not focused on the people, those are the ones buying your shit. I don't know when Americans decided, I'm just going to buy shit from people just because somebody said it was nice. No. Why don't you buy shit from people who do nice things to people? We can't always continue to hire and hire and hire. I understand. If you hire too many people, your business may fail. We ain't talking about that. When your business gets to a comfortable level, then stop hiring and start building your business until you can hire again. But firing people ain't nothing about anything but profit. And this country does that to people on the regular. We need to rethink this capitalism and the way it works. I'm not one to say you can't be wealthy and all that, but I'm saying the way they get wealthy is through us. We need to recalibrate how we think about spending our money with businesses that don't give a fuck about other people. If they don't care, why the hell you put money in their pocket? It's like you're giving somebody money to fuck you over. I don't get it. I don't care what the product looks like. I don't care if it was gold and Jesus came in and spat on it. I don't care. You got Jesus spit on it. I don't care. Is he doing something good or not? No, fuck him. When did America start going to that phase of, I don't care what you do. You could be having children, build a product. You could be doing this. You could be doing all this stuff illegally. I don't care. I just like my, whatever, Adidas. I like my Pumas. I like my Nikes. When did we get to the product that's more important than the people? I don't want nothing that some slave had to actually build. Fuck you and fuck the damn product. People, we got to get back to caring about people. This getting wealthy off of fucking everybody over shit, I don't know why. I'm going to tell you right now, it is so easy to make a lot of money off of doing good by people. Can you imagine a product that you like? Oh, it's a nice purse, let's say, ladies. And that purse actually, part of the profits go to an organization that you love. And I mean, legitimately, or you get to choose. Oh, I buy this product out of, let's say if it's $1,000, I can choose $200 to go to whatever organization I want it to go to. So I know I'm doing good by it. Or parts of your money is going to invest to help people out of poverty. I get the product. $200 goes to a family that needs it. I mean, come on. It's not that hard. And think about it. The more you know you're doing good, the more you're going to buy said product. And if you're going to be doing good, every time you buy it, it's like a blessing every time you buy something. You changing somebody's life. That is something that I can get onto, right? Talking about giving somebody this money is because I can get this product, and said person don't even want black people or Latin people even wearing their product. Remember when Jay-Z was buying some liquor or something like that he was buying, and he was, I don't know if it was a Cavassier or whatever heck it was. I don't know what the brand was, but he was like, oh, loving it and everything like that. And then he created his own liquor because of the fact that they said they didn't even want black people even drinking the damn thing that they was promoting in their rap music. Because they had enough rich white people buying it. We don't need y'all black people. Then why are you buying it? And that's what he ended up stopping. Oh, okay, I'll stop. He made his own whatever. That's the same thing right now. Every brand that you buy, if they aren't doing something for nobody, why are we buying it? Why are we buying it? We can change the world tomorrow by just making sure that whatever product if somebody comes up with that product or that idea and says, you know what, part of the profit may even go back to you. Hell, I'd rather do that than to just make somebody rich who don't give a fuck about nobody. I'm done with that type of capitalism. That greed over everything, profit over people crap. I'm done with it. I'm trying to figure out a way. That's what I've been working on the side. I told you guys I've been working on something, and my members, I will disperse that when I have my membership meetings. I'm still working on that because I want to be able to see everybody and talk to everybody, trying to put that all together, who's in the room and things of that nature. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you abreast of all that. For those of you who want to become members, I'll give you that information as well. And you know, you can go on here and do it, but if you want to become a member or to actually support the show, I'll put that up in a minute too. You'll see it at the bottom of the screen. But those are the things that I would like. I'm tired of the wealthy effing over everybody and then telling them, you know, hey, you know, you just got to deal with it. No, we don't. This is the thing they've gotten. They've gotten so arrogant, the Elon Musk of the world, the Amazon people of the world, the Facebook people. They've gotten to the point where they think we need them more than they need us. They need people for their organization. They need eyes on products for their organization to get paid. If we stop looking, they go broke. Their business is focused on us remaining the same, not giving a fuck about anybody else but ourselves. As long as we stay that way, they know they got us. But once we start to switch the narrative, you're going to see them try to spend a crap ton of money to switch it back to the old way in which they get to control the narrative. This is why I love content creators and people who are doing real facts online, because they can't control that. They don't have these billionaire people spending money for like MSNBC or CNN or Fox and OAN. Those people being controlled by their corporate media. They don't have that. People like myself, right? So if we don't have that type of situation where we get forced to say whatever they want us to say, or they'll sue us, I'm like, sue me. You ain't getting shit out of me. I'm still going to talk. But them, they're all afraid. No, tell the truth. Stand up, 10 toes down on the truth. Whatever comes, comes. But I'm tired of them trying to control what we say and what we do. Americans, we have got to start being the leaders and not the followers of these billionaires. I don't have anything against anybody being a billionaire, to be honest. As long as you're doing right by people, I'm good. But if you're one of those people who want to fuck over everybody, which is mostly all of them, to get ahead, I'm done with that. I want to lead a whole new era of economics as far as like, we need to work for the people, by the people, right? So if we're not trying to lift each other, then what are we here for? Why are we here if we ain't trying to lift each other? I don't get it. Nobody has gotten to billionaire status and millionaire status or any kind of status, 100,000 status, or where you are today without other people. Nobody's gotten there by themselves. So why do we act like we got somewhere by ourselves? Why are we trying to help the people who done lifted us? Or to reach back and help other people because other people were there to lift us? Why aren't we talking about that? Why are we always talking about what we can get while nobody else behind us can get it? And this is like billionaires. They get welfare and then get pissed off that people who are poor get it. And in all honesty, they're the only ones who should get it. It's insane. But we're about to listen to what I heard this morning, the interview. And let me see if I can got it, play it.
For example, now speaking out about U.S. tariffs, denying that it is engaged in ongoing talks with the White House. For the latest, let's get to Eunice Yoon in Beijing. Hey, Eunice.
Hey, Carl. Well, that's exactly right. China today denied the claims by President Trump that his team is in talks with the Chinese on the tariffs. In fact, the Commerce Ministry said today, at present, there are absolutely absolutely no negotiations on the economy and trade between China and the U.S. The foreign ministry also made similar remarks, both of those after, of course, President Trump telling reporters that his team was in direct contact with the Chinese every day. Now, in addition, the Commerce Ministry used stronger language by saying that the U.S., if the U.S. really wants to resolve the problem, it should cancel all unilateral measures on China. So this tougher stance comes as a perception is growing here that the Chinese government is really trying to foment that the Chinese have the upper hand and that President Trump is in a weaker position. The hashtag Trump chickening out has been trending with 250 million views. State TV has also been using one of the memes that has bursted onto the scene here when mocking President Trump officially, calling him the 10,000 tariff grandpa and saying that his constituents have been suffering because of some of his actions. The other memes that are going around, King Know-It-All and Trump the nation builder, but that nation is China. Guys?
Oh my goodness. China, I don't know who taught them to snap, but I mean, or Joan, whatever is part of the country you came from. But China's pulling the dozens on Donald Trump. Donald Trump said all this mess, but but they lighten Trump's ass up. Now, Donald Trump says, he's been saying, we've been talking to China. We've been talking to China. We got deals all over the place. Donald Trump is a consummate liar. This dude wouldn't tell the truth if you forced him. I promise you, at gunpoint, this man would still lie. He would still lie. He ain't got no reason to tell the truth. What's the reason to tell the truth for? He doesn't know how to tell the truth. And I don't understand how Americans or any citizen in this damn country or any other doesn't recognize this. This man's so disconnected from the truth. He's disabled from the truth. I mean, he literally is out there. Yeah, we got a lot of people. We're talking to a lot of people in China. Yeah, we've been talking to them every day. He tried to come out and say, we ain't talking to you, fool. They're like, check yourself, fool. We ain't talking to you. Shit. You can't talk to us until you get rid of all this crap you playing with. If you really want to talk to us, quit the foolish games. Then you can step to us. Other than that, keep talking to yourself. That's pretty much what they said. Keep talking to yourself, fool. Are you talking to China? Somebody on the phone. This is how they go with Donald Trump. They literally said, you got one of your own people say, hey, Trump, yeah, this is China. And Trump, oh, yeah, we've been talking to China the whole time. And China's like, fool, that ain't us. I don't know who you talking to, but it ain't never been us. We ain't spoke to you, ain't talk about speaking to you, ain't about to speak to you until you drop all the foolish shenanigans. This man, these people who came out and said this in China made not only Trump, but America look very small because we out here boasting. It's Donald Trump and his people out here boasting that we got people kissing our ass and we got all these countries in 90 countries. You done spoke to like 3 countries. None of them came with a deal or even an agreement. You had your guy who was supposed to be doing everything, Scott Bessent, saying, when we say, America first, we don't mean America alone. That's because you alone right now. They project. We didn't mean America alone. Why would you have to say that, Scott Bessent, if you didn't feel isolated? And that's exactly what you've done. You've isolated yourself. If you wanted China to do a deal to begin with, you didn't have to throw tariffs on the whole fucking country, whole world. What was the purpose of that? In some of these countries, you had a trade, surplus, not a deficit. So why are you throwing tariffs on people where we're getting more money from them than they're getting from us? It just didn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense. And the reason what really makes sense is Donald Trump's ex-professor at Wharton saying he was the dumbest goddamn student I ever taught. That right there makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense out of it. He don't know what he's doing, so he thinks he's the king of this. He's hired people who are just as dumb, if not dumber than him. And if they're not dumb, they're willing to succumb to stupidity in order to be in a position of power that they're in. Regurgitating stupid shit when you're smarter than that, that's got to be scary. There ain't no amount of money that all the lifetime that I don't put in trying to be intellectual in certain areas in my life, I ain't about to act stupid or subtract from my intellect just because somebody said, I'll give you a job. What the fuck is that? And that's what these idiots have done. Job, power, mediocrity. They call it meritocracy, but it's basically like mediocrity, mediocre white men. So that's what they signed up for. And the whole world gets to see it. You got Asian people eating these stupid ass, non-intelligent white people's lunch. I mean, eating it. They tearing it up. And America looks stupid as fuck with these dudes and these women, Pam Bondi, and leading us. We look completely stupid to every country on the fucking planet. At this point, the only thing we really got is nukes. Our military. Other than that, we're complete, utter shame. And even with our military, at this point in time, with that fool leading it, we're not safe. We're not safe. Russia looking at it like, oh, they got Pete Hegseth at the lead. That dude couldn't lead himself out of a paper bag. We could literally bomb them and say it was from some other place. Oh, that came from Mars. And Pete Hegseth will be sending the Space Force up to get somebody in Mars for doing it. He's so stupid. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense that these people, but they didn't stop there. They had some more questions. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go to her, no, let's finish her out, and then I'll let you see what Donald Trump said, because he already said that, yeah, we're speaking to him. But let's finish out this interview, because it gets even more. Like one of the finance guys talks to her, asks her a question, but it's the last question that I really want y'all to listen to. But we're going to listen to the rest of what she had to say. Oops, sorry. Didn't go that way I wanted it.
But they got it. It's not exactly like their economy is doing well. You speak to Dow, they'll tell you that residence is bad. They'll tell you commercial's bad. I think that the actual phrase that everyone's...
What this man, if you've seen him before, he's the mad investor dude or whatever. He's always screaming. But anyway, he was having all this like at the very beginning is because he can't understand. This is funny to me. He can't understand how China could have this stance when he doesn't believe personally that China has, that much of an edge on us. But why do they feel like they could just how they just dismiss in America like that? It was like they're not doing that great themselves. Somewhat, it's hilarious. He's tried his best to see like China don't really have the balls to be doing this. I don't quite understand how they have the ballage. She's gonna let him know. Gonna let him know why it's
taken over as an embargo. I don't understand how a country that has got an embargo by the largest country on earth is able to poke fun. I don't know whether that gets things done. Now, maybe you don't want to get things done, but that means I accept the embargo. Is that what they are doing?
Well, I think that the answer would be yes in some ways, because they understand that this is going to be very painful. They understand that this is going to be hard on the economy. It won't necessarily topple the economy into recession, as some of the concerns are in the U.S. I think one big difference that people should understand is that the political systems are very, very different. This is an authoritarian regime. And so the government, though it has to be somewhat responsive to the Chinese public, doesn't have to be as responsive as the government in the United States. And so because of that, the messaging out of here has been the sky won't fall. We'll be able to deal. We could just keep going on until the very end. And so that's the messaging, and that looks like what China is going to do, although they have also said that they are open for talks. But again, only if they are treated as an equal and it's on their terms.
He couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it. Like, wait a minute, they ain't got it like that. Are they willing to have this problem with the embargo? I mean, come on, they can't be like, they're like, yeah, fuck y'all. They say, fuck y'all, man. We don't care. You got it twisted. You thought we was gonna be flipping out. Again, America is 13%. 12 to 13% of their particular market. So they're getting 88% from somewhere else. So they lose 13%. Fuck y'all. We ain't gonna die. We may have some issues, but we ain't gonna die. We love to have the contacts and keep talking with y'all. But come to me on a level that, you treat me like an adult. We own y'all. Y'all don't own us. We could totally be the tyrants here. We could literally say, you know what? Fuck y'all, America. Give me my money back. Y'all owe me 768 or something like that $1 billion. Give me my money back. Fuck yeah, I'm investing into another country. Now, would it be the smartest thing to do? No, but can they do it? Fuck yeah. And what would happen if 706 people think it's just going to be China leaving? No, if China has no faith in being able to put that they want their 700 something billion back. Shit. Then Japan's going to want his $1.1 trillion. The market will crash. The dollar will be a little bit less worth than what it is. Of course, it'll go to shit. So again, America, I love America. But don't be too fucking arrogant that you fuck yourself because you got too much bravado. This is that white bravado shit. The mediocre white dude trying to act like he's God and king. No, just because you white, you colonized Jesus and made it into a white person, don't think you got Jesus's power. Jesus was a brown person, not white. So please get out of that mindset that you somehow have that same power. You do not. You do not. Other countries know the truth about everything. And the facade that this country has been putting on for everybody has crumbled. Nobody's afraid of us other than war. Nobody's afraid of us economically. Why would you be? We gave away everything. Before, when we were the main power, we were the manufacturers of the freaking world. Rich people in this country, again, why do we care about them? But these billionaires, what did they do? They sold us down the river. All of our production and shit like that went over to other countries. We've empowered them. Have you ever noticed there is a pattern with America? We are that like the song For the Love of Money. We are that messed up group of a country that gave away everything because you wanted this money more so than you wanted anything else, right? We built our military so that we stay protected. We did have alliances, which Donald Trump is fucking up. We have alliances that people loved us, and our dollar became the main point of finance because of the things that we did back when we won the war after the Second World War. So we became a superpower. Donald Trump is trying to throw that all out the window because he and his white cohorts have gotten in their head that everybody's afraid of America, so we do something, they're going to say, how high? There was a time in history that was a real thing. That was before we gave away all of our powers. Our dollar is based on two countries that have the biggest amount of money in our bonds. That would be Japan and China. They have the biggest amount of money owed to them out of any other country or any other bond owner. So hence, if we fall, they're going to fall, but we owe them. They don't owe us. We default on ours, our dollar goes to shit. We put ourselves in the worst position. How can you say you're the most powerful when you owe everybody and their mama? It makes no sense. And they're always wanting tax cuts. I'm like, yo, pay off the debt. It's tax cuts. You don't need them. Pay off the debt first. I thought these conservatives were supposed to be about paying off debt. They want more money. So you get this continuation of this man literally thought America couldn't be touched. And you can see how he first started off. He was just freaking out like, I don't necessarily get it. Why don't you get that they don't give a shit anymore? You can only keep pushing people so much before they say fuck off. Donald Trump disrespected the Chinese. Then he said they were a proud people. Then he disrespected them again. And then he thought he was going to win. Then he had to back up off of it because not only China wasn't selling. Japan started seeing with China and America was doing, they started selling off the bonds. That's why Donald Trump let off of the freaking things he was doing so that our stock would go up. He didn't count on the rest of the world joining up with China. He thought they were going to join up with us because we're the superpower. These other countries just sit back and watch us act a fool. These 90 countries he mentioned or whatever it is, they aren't talking to Trump. That's him, bravado. We're stronger. You know what we do know about? Definitely, for sure. China, Korea, Japan made a pact. 100% in the news, talked about it. It's been done. They done made something. We don't know all the details because we're not in those countries. But they've made deals already. We ain't made shit. Nothing in the news. Nothing. No exposure. And when Donald Trump is asked, we got it. We doing it. We are meeting. With whom? Oh, we don't need names. But if I feel like it, I'll let the names out. But I don't know. We shouldn't have to do it. In the meeting. This dude, I'm telling you, this is the president of the United States. I am not happy with the president of the United States whatsoever. Yeah, and J.D. Kristen said, J.D. called them peasants. Excuse me, clear my throat, but that's terrible to call somebody peasants. And that's when that dude lit in. He said, we don't care. But it might hurt. We don't care. And on top of that, he took the guy who, I forgot the Chinese guy's name, but he's like, he took the name peasant and said, hey, of course, we're proud that we started out as peasants and farmers and things of that nature. But now we're basically a superpower. So yeah, we're proud we came from those roots, but we're no longer there. He just took it with like a boss and changed it around, flipped it on him. And then talk about JD. I'm like, wait a minute. You're the hillbilly elegy. Who are you? You went to a school, but homie, you just came from peasants. We came from peasants 5,000 years ago. You came from them just like last year. What the fuck you talking about? It was so funny. I was like, man, what's up, Jennifer? I see you. So that was funny to me. We're gonna finish this off, and he was like, rip it out. Like, what? How are they doing this? They don't care, bruh. Why don't y'all take the message, you little Trump and you Trump people? You need to take the message. They don't care. We have built over hundreds of years respect from other countries. But once we put Trump in that first time, they laughed at us at the UN. Laughed at Donald Trump. Donald Trump was trying to play it off. Laughed at us. Right when he's talking, well, I've done more than anybody ever done in America, since like George Washington. And everybody, I didn't think they'd laugh. Of course it would, dumbass. You ain't did shit. You got a pandemic going and ain't doing nothing about it. You're delusional. And then now, we're talking to China. No, you're not. And that I love the fact that usually when a politician says something, the other country just stays quiet. Don't say anything. I love that China's lighting into his ass. The moment he says, we're doing something, China's like, no, he ain't. He bullshitting y'all. Oh, man. I know China got some problems. I ain't gonna lie. But what they doing, man, it is so like on the level of like, thank you. I appreciate you showing this fool up. And these Trumpers, so they don't know. The rest of the world doesn't fear you when it comes to politics. You guys suck at that shit. They are dictatorships and authoritarian and all these different things. They don't play by the same rule books that we play by. Trying to get them to do something, not unless we're at war with them, your talk is cheap. And they're letting you know that. We ain't going to be moved by your cheap talk. Let's continue with what she had to say.
Eunice, real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl. Nationalism. I'm just curious. We always try and keep an eye on that in the sense of, is it growing there, us versus them, and will there be retaliation against U.S.-based businesses? I'm just curious. Are you seeing any sort of growth in that, so to speak?
Well, definitely the nationalism is growing. I mean, you see that online. There are a lot of people who are embracing the idea that the U.S., or at least the narrative that the government here puts out, that the U.S. is trying to contain China. So that's really led a lot of people to, kind of joke around a lot more about what's happening and embrace their roots. But in terms of on the street, I mean, you see it in that some people will say, oh, well, maybe I should choose a Huawei phone instead of an Apple, as we've discussed. There are others who said that, we saw like AmCham had a survey out recently that said that, some American companies are having trouble convincing Chinese to be hired. So that you could see it in small ways, but nothing so meaningful yet that would scare away a lot of American companies.
Finally, Eunice, Washington Post has a piece up about administration officials scrambling to stem the damage from the halt on exports of rare minerals. They do quote some trade officials as saying this is fast emerging as our Achilles heel here in the States. How's that being read out there?
Yeah, it's being read very well over here. I think that people have been, again, with the whole nationalism, understand that the rare earths is something that China has been dominating for quite some time. And even though, there has been some argument that they shouldn't actually pull back on rare earths because eventually that could lead other countries such as the U.S. to develop its own rare earths industry, the Chinese want to make a point that they can hurt the U.S. if they need to.
There you go. China's saying if we need to hurt the U.S., we will if we need to. All this comes to mind for me is why? Why did we have to start this trade war with China? I don't understand where it came from, why Trump thought it was the thing to do, Project 2025 and all that. Why did you try to bully a country that you hadn't done the homework and realized where to hit them at? It's almost like, if you think about it, as if it was like a war. Now, this is a trade war, but let's just think of it like a war, like a real war, or even the game war. I don't care how you want to deal with it. It's us versus them. If you decide, Donald Trump in America, that you're going to attack China on this trade war, so to speak, wouldn't you have done the homework to see, okay, here's the foundation in which China is strong. Here's the part over here where they're weak and where we benefit. And this over here, if we mess this up, they really would have to come to the table for a deal because this they need from us. Let's mess with that part. And that's how we'll attack them. Your attack plan. Donald Trump and his minions went after their absolute strongest, did no homework, their strongest thing that they have, and then said the whole world, we're going to put y'all on notice that we're going to tax y'all too, but y'all get like 10%. We going ham on China. 25, 50, 75, 100. It's like 75, 35, sold. They're trying their best. But they went up to 145. 145%. Knowing that a tariff is a tax on American citizens, you literally said to yourself, we're going to put American businesses out of business to fuck with China. Say what? A tariff is a tax on American citizens, and you only really use it strategically in a good way for Americans, is to build an industry first and then draw Americans to said industry by cutting off the other industry. So if you wanted to fuck with China, you would start building a rare earth American like industry, right? And then you start building whatever manufacturing companies you want to bring back over here. You would start building those and invest in the infrastructure like Biden was doing. Invest in the infrastructure. And once you got that done and you needed to employ people for that industry that is growing in our country, that will be competitive to said China or Korea or Brazil or whatever, then you can turn the faucet on over here and start mass producing and cutting off said country we're getting it from. So therefore, we are forced as Americans to buy from us. Therefore, growing our manufacturing to the point where other countries would want it from us and not from China. But you would have to do that first and then know, how could we compete with China? Seeing as how they've got at least 40 years on us and the technology is light years above us, and the connections to get it directly from China is tight with every country they're with. What leverage do we have to get those other countries to stop buying from them and buy from us? Do you understand what I'm saying? In that said war, we had no battle plan. We had all bluff. We had military equipment with no weapons in them. They were empty. We just had them there for show. How do you win a war with no battle plan? To this day, nobody knows what Trump fucking wants in America, let alone in any other country. How do we support something we know no reason why they're doing it? I don't blindly support nobody. So American citizens should have known, what is Trump going after? Building America? Okay, what we're building? Metal, cars. Yeah, okay, cool. No, we don't know. It is a concept of a plan. And this is the problem, Americans, especially MAGA people and Republicans and others who voted for him. He never has a plan. He has a concept, and you guys buy in on a concept. No plan, no structure, no leverage, no connections. None of this shit. You can't have those things in place if the people that you're supposed to sell this to is only to the American people. Nobody else, none of the business people have made a decision to expand like Donald Trump is talking about because they don't know what he's talking about. Only the billionaires know what he thinks he's talking about, but even them, they were like, wait a minute, I didn't know that this is where it's supposed to be. And I'm losing money. And Walmart's talking about, and Target, which I don't buy from pretty much any of them, but they sent out a letter and they had a conference call of some sort talking to Donald Trump and his people. In 2 weeks or so, 2 weeks or more or less, their shelves are going to be empty. Make up your mind, Trump. We don't know what the fuck you're doing. So we got a man that has Russell Vogt running Project 2025. And I don't think Russell Vogt thought about the American people and how they were going to deal with it. I think he was just trying to take over the government, not realizing how the government's attached to the people. So all the shit he's doing is trying to take over the government and make it whatever he wants it to be to install his deep state, not realizing that the shit he's implanting into the country doesn't have any legs with the people. So Donald Trump has no clue what he's doing. He's waiting on to get notice from Russell Vogt. Reporters, you need to be asking Russell Vogt and Mika Meadowcroft what the hell they're doing. Stop asking Trump. Trump don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Trump will say, I'm not doing this. And then 30 minutes later, yes, we're doing it. Reminds me of elderly people who are losing it. He'll literally say one thing at the beginning of the day. He will tweet something later on, early in the morning the next day. Total opposite of what he said the day before. I'm getting tired of people, no matter what you are, covering for people. They did it with Reagan. Reagan was out of his fucking mind as a president. At the end, he had Alzheimer's. This man did not know jack. But everybody's saying, oh, who was running the country? Well, sure the fuck wasn't him. But covering it up. And now we're covering up Donald Trump. This man, last time he was president, person, woman, camera, car, TV, took an intellectual test. No, you took an Alzheimer's test, bro. Because you can't remember. America reelected that. Hey, Rude, how you doing? It's just some insane stuff. But you'll see that here's Donald Trump after early in the morning where China said, dude, we ain't talking to you. This is what Donald Trump had to say when he was asked by a reporter. Yeah, there we go.
A question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is.
They had a meeting this morning. Doesn't matter. I can't tell you who they is. They had a meeting. I can't tell you who they is.
Reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think you have, Jeff, as usual, I think you have your reporting wrong. Thank you very much. We'll see you.
I think you have your reporting wrong. Thank you very much. We'll see you. Every time this man gets caught, it's attack the media. Why would he ask said question? Sir, he just said, China said, they ain't spoke to you. And then you tell him he's got it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, did we not just hear a woman in China doing the news that literally showed the tweet or whatever the context that person sent that information out to, verbatim what they said, reported back to this reporter, actual person in the government in China said these actual words on CNBC. Did we not just see that happened earlier on in the morning? And then this fool's gonna tell the reporter that he got his information wrong. From where? How did he get it wrong? He doesn't work on CNBC. He's not that lady. He's not the person who said it in China. He's telling you what he got. And China, all throughout the day, has backed this shit up. We're supposed to believe Trump when he can't even tell you who they is, when he's the one who told us they. He said they. Nobody else said they. He said it. But I can't tell you who they is. You know this man ain't spoke to nobody. His people ain't spoke to nobody. Donald Trump made that shit up. 100%. See that freeze face. I'm telling you, it's Jesus Christ. I can't believe. I mean, look, I'm not the smartest person. You know, when I go into rooms, I know I'm not the smartest person in every room. I love that fact because I always want to learn from another person. But this man thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and those who are smarter than him capitulate and allow themselves to look stupid because they care more about, I guess, money or power. I understand he's the president, things of that nature. But it's a pain to see. Like I said, in my lifetime, I've sought intelligence because I think, you know, I love that people show that they want to learn something. It bothers me when somebody gets to a certain level of intellect and just say, I'm a cruise control for the rest of my life. I'm like, why wouldn't you learn something new like every day? I mean, why would you cut yourself off from learning stuff? It makes no sense to me. And that essentially would mean the last thing you really learned was when you was 20. The world has changed in 30-something years since you stopped learning. You got the education of somebody when you was 20. You're like 50 now with a 24-year-old education. It doesn't make sense. As we get older, we're supposed to be wiser, not dumber. And wiser because we've lived life and paid attention to life that we can share with our neighbors or younger co-workers or children or grandchildren or whatever. It's shocking to me that people like this man, he's grown as old as he is, he really doesn't have anything to offer anybody that will improve their life, except for grifting and lying, cheating, stealing, raping, fraud. That's what this man knows. And because this country supports white men so much, this man hasn't seen a day in prison. He should have been in prison most of his life from the shit he's done. It's crazy. And then talk about criminals and rapists. When you talk about Latin people, I'm like, you got a criminal and rapist talking about criminal and rapist. How fucking ironic is that? Donald Trump's a criminal and rapist. He wants to get all the criminal and rapists out of the country. We should start with him. Republicans, Democrats in the House go to the 25th Amendment, kick him out of office, make him a regular ass citizen, put his ass in jail where he deserves to be, let him rot there, and put somebody else in place. I don't care. Put in another Republican if you have to, if that's what the law desires. Fine. I know if it's going to be his little idiot sidekick, whatever. J.D. Vance, if it has to be, then it has to be. But one nut job at a time. We got two of them in there. That's right, Rude. Every accusation is a confession. It's just insane. This man literally just said that he spoke. Not him, but they spoke to China. Was on the phone with him today. This message came out today, early this morning. But somehow he's on the phone with them today and has been speaking to them when China says, we ain't speaking to you, fool. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll never forget that. That one thing made me laugh so much when the mad investor dude, whatever, he couldn't speak. He was like, but I just can't, I don't understand how they gonna treat us like that. He just had no idea. He's like, they ain't in the best decision. They ain't in the best like place to be doing this. They talking about us and talking this bullshit to us, and it's like they just don't care about the embargo. It's like, nope. What don't you understand? Some people look at life, and this is it immediately. After I saw that clip, the thing I could equate China with, the thing that I can equate China with, and I've had a lot of girls that have been friends of mine in my lifetime. So women might understand this better than men. Men understand it, but women I know understand it more. You remember when you was with that person, you know, if you were with men or whatever it was, when you was with that person you was dating, and it has been a lot of ups and downs and ups, and you don't loved and gave all you can, and then at one day you sat down and you just had this reflection, I deserve better than this. And when you felt like I deserve better than this, that was the start of you figuring out how to get the fuck out of that relationship. You stayed with that person, and things that you talked about, and things they would say after you don't made that kind of decision, just validate it. Yep, I'm getting the fuck out. Yep. Then you started to make those plans, like thinking about, yeah, I gotta get a new place, I gotta get new clothes. And then all of a sudden, you coming home, and he or she, whatever the situation may be, is like, oh, where'd you get that new dress? Oh, I ain't gonna never wear it. And you're putting it in a suitcase. You're doing all this stuff, you buying toothpaste, 2 of them. You're putting one in a suitcase, you put one on the counter. And you continue to do all that till that suitcase is full. And then you're like, I'm out. And not, you leave the key on the counter, you leave everything there, boom, grab your shit, and you's out. You ain't coming back. This fool's calling you and everything. Boop, delete, all that. When you done, you're done. China's like, we done. I ain't fucking with y'all like that no more. We used to think that y'all was the shit, and now we're thinking that because you keep electing this piece of shit, we done. Now, if you want to put something else at the leadership, or if you want to change yourself, Trump, into another person, then we good. But other than that, this person right here, I'm out. I'm out. And this dude couldn't understand how China just said, I washed my hands of that fool. Do what you got to do. We don't have a problem with our country going down. We ain't going to hit recession like you will. They literally said, you're going to hit recession before me. So we good. That person is done. Done. And ain't no way to bring that person back to like being cool. That person's like, we're going to always be like this. We ain't going to never be like this. So we down here, we out here now. We can negotiate to get here, but we always got that eye on you. Like, something ain't right about that country. We ain't going to fuck with them that way. And that's what Donald Trump did. Now, again, I know China did some crazy things with patents and different things of that nature. There were other ways to go about that than what Donald Trump did and continues to do. So we're going to see how this thing plays out. But it doesn't look good for us when the other country is saying, do what you got to do. Like that old song, hit me with your best shot. He's like, hit me with your best shot. And China's like, eh. And that dude, mad dude, he couldn't handle it. Oh man, that clip was funny to me there. I laughed hard when I saw that. He was frustrated. He couldn't understand how somebody was like treating America like this. And I'm like, yo, so many times they're treating people like shit that they're gonna look like you and be like, yo, respect my authority or bounce. Yeah, I got that from South Park. Anyway, I'm gonna look at what y'all got to say. I appreciate y'all supporting the show as always. Here's a way you guys can always support me. You see the ways you can help to grow the show. I haven't seen Five Alarm Fire lately, but if anybody in here is a part of his group, just let him know. I did read his email. I sent him an email back, and would love to connect with y'all and talk more about it. So I already did that. He should be able to receive that sometime soon. I sent it out earlier before the show. Just a heads up. Let me see what anybody else. Not nationalism. Just because a 4-year-old is in charge of our government, Kristen. Yes, that is so true. Chris, this is why he wants Greenland for the minerals. Yeah, because again, he's trying to figure out how he can do without China. Again, this is the problem. Like, and Kristen's bringing up something really good. Here's a problem that I see with that. Again, if it was like a war, Donald Trump is throwing everything out at once and not planning for anything. They have no organization skills. The people he put in place to do what he did, they came out with the whole plan, but they didn't have a structure on how these things are supposed to happen. This dude's doing everything at once. Talking about Greenland, like you said, wanting the minerals and things of that nature is a way to edge China out of that situation. Again, the areas in which, and they were talking about in that video, in which we fall with China is the minerals. And they were talking about that. Not unless we want to create minerals ourselves or mass produce these types of minerals, start an industry in that situation. China will always have our number on that particular thing, and they can hurt us if they want to. That's exactly what they said in this interview. But, in a news segment. But we don't have that, and it would take us forever to do it. So what is Donald Trump and his minions trying to do? They're trying to get minerals, like we can start an industry like right now. How? Take over a country that's already got minerals that we can compete with China. So we're going to war for somebody else's minerals is what you're saying. Because they ain't going to just give it up. You're going to have to fight them to the death. So that's what we're going to do now. These people do no homework. They literally think they can just rule the world. It's like, dude, understand something. America may have nukes. We may have the most powerful army on the planet. But there are more countries that have nukes. And if all said countries decide to bomb America, we're shit out of luck. We can't, if every country that Donald Trump is trying to turn, he's getting rid of being out of the UN and the United Nations, if all the countries that we had in the UN we no longer believe, are attached to it, if they connect with other countries that don't like us, I don't care how many nukes or what weapons we got. We can only fight if we have no allies. We can only fight for so long. That's not a superpower. You could be nuking your ass out. You're going to run out of nukes. You ain't going to build them fast enough that you got to hit every country on the planet. I don't understand these people. To get rid of our allies and to connect with what? North Korea, Russia, what's the other country? Is it not Hungary? Is it Hungary? I'm like, are you serious? You're trying to get amongst these small groups of people? When you got the rest of the world, all of us together, boy. I'm telling y'all, it is a pain. Oh, you had the angry Ginger on the Sons of Liberty. Okay, nice. It was a great show. Nice to hear it. Good music, yeah. I just seen him on the Angry Ginger Show live. Okay, Woke Mike, appreciate it. All right, no worries. I appreciate you letting me know. But he should get the email. He'll know. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You see how you can support the show also in the situation of if you're already members, I appreciate it. We will start having I messed up. It put the wrong thing up there. It's still my fault. I appreciate it. I was trying to put up this right here that you guys can subscribe to the show, become a member. And those who are already members, we're going to start having meetings. Like I said, I'm trying to still put that all together to tell you exactly what I want to kind of like help us move from the old way of doing capitalism and being able to buy products that are like no-name brands so that we can, I ain't talking about doing no kind of Amway stuff. I ain't talking about that, but just trying our best to do things that work for the people, not against the people. We got to take the power out of the hands of the billionaires in order we can focus on the people and determine the type of lives that we want instead of what they want to dictate to us to what we can have and what we can't have, and create businesses and things of that nature that are people-centric and not just profit-centric. You got to make money, of course. You got to make a living, of course, but you don't have to rob people in order to do it. And I think that'd be more enticing to people that, you benefit from every purchase that you actually have, or those you care about benefit from it. And it's a we thing instead of a me thing when it comes to making profit or selling products or services. It's a way you think about it, how you act on it, that changes the world. And if we can revision it a different way, then the world could be more equitable to all of us. And it's not a socialist agenda. It's still capitalism. It's just doing capitalism right. I've always believed when I talked to like one of the main people who dealt with capitalism and economics. He's probably gone now, but many years ago, I went to this function, and some of you guys have probably heard this. Went to this function, and I'm talking, and this is one of my business about helping end poverty. I still do, but I haven't implemented it. But an app that I was focused on trying to end poverty, and so basically every purchase you made profit. So that I was building that out, and I talked to this guy. We was at this it was at this function and I wasn't a speaker, but the guy I came with was. And so I was in an audience sitting next to this guy. He had to be like 80 something, maybe almost 90. And white guy, really nice dude. We were sitting there talking back and forth, and he was talking about, capitalism. He was talking about economics, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this dude really knows his stuff about economics. I'm like, who is this dude? Right? So we're just sitting there talking back and forth, and he's discussing with me. He says, like, what do you do? And I said, well, I got this app, that I'm focused on trying to end poverty through capitalism. And I explained to him what it was. And he looked at me, he goes, sounds good, but that's not capitalism. I said, well, it is and it isn't. said it's like taking capitalism. What you're talking about is profit. You're doing like supply and demand. I'm still doing supply and demand. I'm not changing the way people buy stuff. Things are still the same. So all I'm doing is changing on what you do with the profit you make. Do you keep it all, or do you share it and therefore create opportunities for other people and yourself to grow faster? My idea is the more you help people, the more you grow, not the more you hoard. So if I help you, and every time I help you, I make money, then wouldn't I want to continue helping people and make it a situation where if you help more people, the more money you make? You're doing good for more than just for good's sake, but also for profit in a more equitable way. And I said, they can use these apps and change their lives. And he was like, it sounds great. But he's like, it's like, well, I guess you're right. It is still capitalism, but you're just changing the way. And I said, yeah, exactly. But see, these are the things that I believe in the way I think is that we can be able to change these things by doing what we normally do. But by doing them, something else happens as opposed to just getting a product. You become like a partner in the process. So we'll talk more about that and connect more about that. The next time when I get to have a meeting with the members, we'll talk more about it. But I'm still working on it, and I'll let you guys know. And you know how it is. As always, much love to y'all, and I'll see some of y'all tomorrow at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as always, much love to y'all, and I'll see you when I see you.